Okay, it has been a very long time in coming, but finally, here is the review of the VF1B Beta Fighter. Alright, so obviously you can see that if you buy this thing, it would have come in this plain white box, probably not as beat up as this one, with just this picture of Lunk on it. And it says VFB 9i Volume 3, okay? So this is Lunk's one, which means that it's probably going to be like a brownish yellow kind of color. But enough about the box. Let's get this thing out of here and take a look. And here we have it. One of these big book cases. Robotech Masterpiece Collection, New Generation. Here's Lunk here, all in full color. Alright. And you just go ahead and flip this thing open and there you go, there's the Beta Fighter. And a bit of yellow here, but it's green. It's mostly green. Alright, so here's a close-up of it, and here's the certificate of authenticity, and it is number 509 of 10,000, so it's a relatively low number. And as is shown right here, here it is in robot mode, then fighter mode, and then linked up with an alpha, so it will be like in the link up mode. Anyways, and I do have the alpha here that I will use to show the link up mode, but that will be at the end. So let's get this thing out of here. Alright, well, here we have the Beta Fighter in Battleoid mode. One thing I noticed right off the bat is the legs are die-cast metal. While most of this thing appears to be plastic, these lower legs are made of die-cast metal. They're really heavy, and as such, there's not a whole lot of, stability going on here. So getting this thing to stand up is going to be a bit of an accomplishment, and essentially you're just going to plunk it down on a shelf somewhere and just leave it there. I mean, the feet are solid enough that it will allow the figure to stand on its own, but you're not going to get a whole lot of dynamic poses out of this thing. Essentially what you did is you bought this thing for its ability to link up to a alpha. I mean, I don't remember how many times this thing showed up in the series in Battleoid mode, but I get the distinct impression that it wasn't all too often. So, it has a bunch of accessories, so why don't we go ahead and take a look at those, alright? So, there is this little bitty pilot figure right here. There we go. If this damn thing would ever focus, which it doesn't like to do because it's retarded, there we go, finally. We got some focusing in there. Okay, so this little guy will go somewhere in there. Then we have what looks to be like a stand, so the thing will actually stand up. I mean, that's nice. We have like separate landing gear, and that's kind of odd that the landing gear doesn't even retract into there. You figure that with how big and bulky this thing is, you'd be able to get the landing gear to retract in there, but you know, whatever. And then we got like this missile pod thingy up here. So, why don't we go ahead and take a look through this and see what mysteries are in store. Alright, well, first up we have this sheet of sticker decals, and you got like stuff for Mars base and Jupiter base and stuff. So this is obviously, you know, the American version if you were to put these stickers on there. We got some like numbering and then no step and danger and all that stuff. And then we have our instruction manual. Alright, so here we got Lunk and a picture of the thing in fighter mode. I suppose if you transformed it partially, you would get like a Guardian mode. I think they're really stretching it right there. And then of course you got your Battloid mode. Of course, you know, you got all your transforming instructions. Fighter mode, huh? Look at this. Maybe all that stuff wasn't really a stand, but wow, to do landing gear, I mean, this would be kind of awkward to have this thing extend all the way out just so it could land. Oh, okay. There's a flight stand for when it's like linked up. Alright, so we got the linked up form of the fighter and the linked up form of the Battloid. That is pretty cool. What else do we got here? Coming soon, Volume 3, VF1B9I Beta Fighter. That looks like it's all in blue. And of course you got Rand's Cyclone and stuff. So, why don't we get back to this guy, alright? Alright, now before we get to transforming this guy, why don't we see what the Battloid mode has to offer. Alright, so you take this missile pod, stick it down in here, and suddenly the guy's got missiles. Okay, let's check his articulation. And the head only swivels back and forth just a small amount. It does not move up and down. Alright, we got clicky at the shoulder. That's nice. Alright, so there seems to be more articulation in the arms than I figured there would be. The hands, though, are very small. And all they do is just open up all 4 fingers right here. They have a single hinge joint, which allows them to do that. And it swivels at the wrist. This thing will not turn at the base. Of course, I didn't exactly expect it to, but whatever. Alright. Moving this thing back and forth, we have clicking at the hip joints and just a bit of ratcheting at the knees, but it does not move very much at the knees. This is as much articulation as you're able to get out of the knee, right here. That's it. Just a small amount. Now we've got like the feet here. We have this one toe that can come down. So you can get some kind of stability going on here. I mean, it does have this tripod kind of design here with 2 back toes and the 1 front one. This thing will not swivel outwards, but it does have a bit of movement due to the design of its joints. But it will move upwards just a bit because, again, because of its transformation. So, that's about as much articulation as you're going to get out of this Beta Fighter in Battloid mode. It's not a whole lot, but, yeah, I mean, you know, if you get inventive, I mean, you can do, you know, a bit. So, yeah, it looks pretty cool. I mean, it's huge, so you're not going to get a whole lot of articulation out of it, but, you know, for, like, posing, you know, that's good enough. Alright. These panels turn downwards, revealing all these rows of missiles. And don't forget the one that's up here. Alright, cool. You open this up, here's the pilot seat. Alright, so that will open up. There's where you stick the pilot. And of course, we have a little pilot minifigure that will go inside. So you would just take your little pilot and kind of just stick him in here. And he's got like a little peg on his backside to would allow you to stick him down into that seat if the little bastard ever wanted to cooperate, which these things rarely ever do. It seems to be a big theme amongst these sort of things. Alright, so whatever. The way this is designed, this figure will never sit inside this cockpit. Okay, so there's major complaint number one. It's not even the articulation, because I didn't expect a whole lot of this. Major complaint number one, the pilot will never be able to sit in the pilot's seat. Ever. Okay. Whoop-de-freaking-do. You know, let's go ahead and get this thing transformed, alright? Okay, here we go. We have the figure here in fighter mode. We're not even going to bother with Guardian because it's just ridiculous. Okay, so basically it's this big, blocky, chunky thingamajig here. As you can see, there was some problem getting the legs up, but it was nothing that, you know, a little bit of diligence wasn't going to fix. There's like a claw kind of thingy here on like the legs, and they must latch into some holes that are here on top of the fuselage. And then there were pegs that would attach the legs to the arms here. Anyways, other than that, very little trouble. This was much easier to transform than the Alpha, which kind of surprised me. But I think should have been obvious. Okay, so as it's flying around here, you know, they're still open, still shoots all these missiles out and everything. And I suppose, you know, you have some vertical launch missiles right here. Right here is this hole where you can stick the landing gear. So why don't we go ahead and try that, huh? All right, really quick, there is this optional part here. Go ahead and pop this out really quick. And if you don't want to have the landing gear, you can just go ahead and take this little piece here, you plug it in right there, and then you don't have this glaring hole there. But if you do want landing gear, just take that off. And it will extend out. See, the front is just the same as this little plug thingy. It slides out, and then there would be landing gear that would go right on here. And the other landing gear go right in here. There's these little tabs that swing out here, and there's little holes to stick the landing gear. I'm not going to put the landing gear in because we're not going to have it sit there with landing gear. Alright, so you would just stick that in there, and then it would sit there on like your shelf or whatever. And just so you know, that thing will fall out just like that. People really want to see this thing in the link-up mode, which is probably why you went ahead and bought a Beta Fighter. So, why don't we go ahead and do that, huh? Okay. Apparently, when you want this thing to enter into link-up mode, this would extend outwards. But then you gotta be really careful about this. Take your Alpha Fighter, And you'd extend these, what would be the foot sections outward just a bit to make some room. And if, like, you know, your wings were extended upwards, such as, you know, like this. And by the way, yes, I did finally manage to get the other wing out with the aid of some tweezers and a pair of pliers. But yes, you would take both these wings, flip them back in, make some room here. And then you got this bitty section right here, which sticks out. That would then slide right in here. Wow, I'm gonna go ahead and recommend that no one ever try to display their Alpha and Beta Fighter in the link-up mode like this. Because with the fact that this connecting thing just will slide right out, I mean, and look, when the thing like connects to the plane, it doesn't really snap on. It just kind of sits there, you know. This thing, it just kind of balances there. So you take this and you go ahead and you kind of slide it in there just a bit, not even all the way, because the damn plane won't let it fit all the way back in there. And, you know, there you go. You kind of have your link-up mode. Alright, I'm going to take my hand off of that. See, just one hand holding it, but if you even tilt this thing downward slightly, this plane is going to fall out and could possibly smash into a million billion pieces. Alright, so here you go. You have your link-up mode, Alpha and Beta Fighter. I mean, it does look really haphazard, well, with the Beta being green and white, and the Alpha being like this black and purple, it being a shadow fighter. But, you know, this is the Resistance. This is the Resistance. They take whatever they can get. It's not like they're gonna, like, color coordinate all their weapons and stuff. So, this really looks like a Resistance fighter, Alpha fighter, Beta link-up kind of thingamajig, alright? So, you know, I guess you could have this up on a display stand, like just flying around or whatnot. So, stability issues aside, I think this looks pretty cool. This is like the first time in the review that I'm actually pleased with what I'm seeing. Like I said, stability issues aside, I mean, if I'm going to tilt this thing downwards, okay, alright, yeah. There we go. Since this thing, there's a lot of die-cast metal in here, you know, you're gonna get like some friction holding this thing in place, but, you know, other than that, if it weren't for just the friction holding this thing together, it would just fall apart. So, like I said, stability issues aside, this thing looks really cool. I'm quite pleased with the aesthetics of it, but let's go ahead and get this Alpha transformed into Battloid mode and see what it looks like linked up there. Alright. Okay, so we've got the Alpha transformed into Battloid mode, and we're gonna go ahead and do the link up. So we have this second support bar with this little hole in it. Here you can see the Alpha fighter. Anyways, what you would do, you take this, and the nose section goes to this hole here. Now you can, like, you can see this little thing that sticks out right here. There's even like a little slot for it right there, and there's this claw section right here that will come around and support the front part. So you would basically be having the fighter held like this, and that's how it'll be for the link up mode. So let's go ahead and try this out. Now to fold these wings out, so I guess you don't have to keep the nose section really secure. The cloth section here in the front will keep it from swinging out. Open these wing sections up here in the back. And now you've lowered the cockpit here on the Beta. So this thing will then supposedly slide right in here. Alright, and the wings come back in, I suppose. There we go. And then suddenly you've got, yourself, an alpha, beta link up in fighter mode. And if you're able to get like some kind of dynamic posing out of this thing and actually get the weapon to stay inside the hand, which is theoretically impossible, you would have like this thing flying around really fast, shooting its, its gun pod, and these things wouldn't be able to swing down to shoot missiles, I suppose, without this thing falling out. But due to anime magic, that would probably happen. So this Beta pretty much becomes like a rocket booster slash extra missile pack for the Alpha. So here is the whole thing like hooked up, and I must say that, again, stability issues aside, it looks pretty cool. I mean, you are able to get like some movement here, but anything else and it will fall out just like that. Alright, so thus shall end my review of the Robotech New Generation Beta Fighter, or if you're a real stickler about your stuff, your Genesis Climber Mosquito Beta Fighter. Now, again, I got this thing on sale. I think I paid maybe 80 bucks for it. I mean, they gotta charge you more because it is a lot of plastic that they're giving you. Do I think it's worth it? Yeah, if you've already got yourself an Alpha Fighter, you might as well get yourself a Beta. But again, if you're gonna pay full price for this thing, I would not recommend it. Like I said before in my Alpha review, I got both the Alpha and the Beta at a discount at an anime convention, just because I guess the Alpha had been sitting there for so long and the Beta's box was really beat up. So that's how I was able to get such a discount on it. I wouldn't recommend going around trying to, beat up some of a store's merchandise just trying to get a discount on it. But if you can find like some kind of a sale going on and you are really into Robotech or Genesis Climber Mosquito, this is definitely something that I would recommend picking up for the right price. Anyhows, that is all I have for you this time. Check back again for future videos, and I am signing out. Hello.
Hi, this is Margaret. Flower carriage?
Uh-huh. Yeah, well, I think you have the wrong number. Yep, that's me. No. Yep. Bye-bye.